Okay. So have you ever seen this game?
The only like Boktai game I've seen is the DS one that you were doing.
Oh yeah. So the beeping is there was an error that kept popping up at the beginning, which is what is that beeping sound? On like on my emulator.
I hate when that happens.
And it doesn't do any like it gives me like some weird error, but it doesn't actually mean anything. It pops up 3 times, so I think you hear the beep 3 other times, and then you won't hear it anymore. Up there it is the second time.
There's the second one. On the third one, Cinderella's, like dress and all that shit goes to hell.
Yep, this is made by Konami, you know, those guys.
Yeah.
And this game series was made by Hideo Kojima, I believe. So that was voice acting.
Yeah.
There's more of
Voice
that, by
acting.
the way.
That. You know what? I actually can't fault the game for that because
This is a
I
Game Boy Advance
remember
game,
back
by the
in the
way.
fucking like Game Boy Advance days and shit like that, like you would never have voice acting.
You would never have it.
In a place not too
Exactly.
far from
And
the
there's
end
more. That's not like
Yeah,
horribly
so-
bit crushed.
The undead appear, breaking the
I
natural
know.
cycle.
That's what's
Life
even more
and
amazing.
death.
Hmm.
The evolution of species ceases, and one by one.
Back during like the Game Boy
they
Advance
become
era and shit like this, like this was the future.
Yeah.
You would finally hear people talking in a game.
Well, in the Game Boy Advance, there was no voice acting at all. This was the only game I can think of in which there was voice acting, besides like maybe a grunt in a platformer or something like that.
Yeah. Like you would hear sounds, but you would never hear actual words.
Yeah. Oh, like maybe on like in an RPG when they're saying a move name, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Even then, that was few and far between. Or like,
Yeah.
or like what El Tango there did. He said his own name. Anyway, you're gonna see me here.
I'm
messing
gonna be
up.
honest. Django does not look like Django from the DS one. He has a very pointy haircut.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Django in the DS one is like from the future or something like that. We don't talk about that.
Oh,
Right?
yay. We don't talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one. Anyway, you're gonna see me here messing with the menus in the beginning because I don't remember because the different solar sensor patches for for the first 3 Boktai games, they have different controls for changing the solar sensor. Because this game required the cartridge had a solar sensor, so you had to actually be outside to actually
yeah.
like, sort of play the game. There's a way to get around it, but I'm not gonna do that. There's a way to to always have 2 bars filled, but I'm just using the solar sensor patch because that's the only way for me
I
to
love
record
how
this.
it's just like you need to purify him with the pile driver. And I just immediately think of fucking Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, you haven't. Oh yeah, you won't see that. Did I? Was the pile driver in the whatever?
No, in the DS one you
Oh
had
no,
a
yeah, you did that
ship
weird.
segment
Oh
and
yeah,
you
that.
flew them into the sun.
So anyway, I'm wondering why I see these random bags on the ground, and the reason why they're there is because the sunlight's too strong, so all the undead enemies get killed. I'm gonna lower it in a bit because, well, that ain't.
The sun is too strong. The heat too hot. The enemies die immediately.
Yeah, but it is
It's
bad.
no Mount Fuji.
It is bad to have it the solar sensor all the way at max at all times because your Gundasol can actually overheat.
Mm.
Anyway, to change the solar sensor with the patch, I had to hold the L and R buttons and move the directional pad. So that's how I'm changing it.
Mm.
I think.
Oh yeah, graphical glitch.
Oh no, that's just the way that it's recording. That's a skylight. It looks a little bit better, but because of the recording, you know how.
Oh no, I knew that it was a skylight. I was talking about the fact that it was flickering.
Yeah, no, it does flicker, but it looks even worse because of the way it's recorded.
Yeah.
Otenko.
Yeah, I remember with Otenko and stuff like that in the DS videos where when you found out that Otenko's name was changed to some shit like Toasty.
He was Toasty.
Yeah. You were not happy about that.
No, of course I wasn't happy. What kind of name is Toasty?
Ask the person who did the Toasty meme for fucking Scorpion's finisher.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, good. The Skype recorder's on. Okay, I thought I wasn't on for a second, but anyway. I think Otenko means something. And let me...
You've gone robotic.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Oh wait, no. Yeah, it fixed itself now.
Hang on. I think it might be because I'm uploading as well. It's almost done, the other upload, so it should be done. Should be done soon. But anyway, what does Otenko mean? I know Otenko means something.
I'm just trying to figure out what the hell this enemy is. Like,
Oh,
it's got like noodle arms.
oh, those are
and, like,
zombies.
fish head.
I think they're called something else, but I think that they're zombies essentially is what they are.
Yeah. Otenko said that their names are Box.
Yeah. You know how the DS one was more action oriented?
Yeah.
This is a stealth game.
Really?
Yeah. You get a higher rank depending on how many times you are seen and how many times you get hit, and how fast you complete a stage. If you complete a stage like being really fast and without being seen, you get like an S rank and you get better items at the end. At the beginning, I'm more stealthy as I go on.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, because I'm not too used to the controls just yet, or to the gameplay again. Because the last time I played this was like 3 years ago. So
I'm trying to remember. That dude with a sword. Is he in this?
yeah. Don't say his name just yet. If you
I don't even remember his name. All I remember is that he had a goddamn sword.
Yeah. He doesn't have a sword in this one. I don't know if Otenko actually means something. Actually, I looked it up and it doesn't. I'm not finding anything. It might be a pun of some kind.
The worst enemy ever in video games besides the goddamn eagles from fucking Far Cry 4. Bats!
Yeah, we get a modification to our Gun to Soul. Not that far later that lets us take care of those guys much more easily. By that, what it does is we just, that little spray thing I did. I just spin around in a circle doing that. So they can't really hit me. But yeah, like when you defeat a boss, you have to. There's no boss here, but when you defeat a boss, you have to take their coffin and drag it back to the pile driver. So you have to go through the dungeon twice. Once to get to the immortal, as they call it here.
So once to get to him, and then once in reverse.
Yeah, to get out. And like the coffin will like fight you and try to go back.
Wait, what?
It'll shake sometimes. See?
Oh, like this?
Yeah, and you'll just have to shoot at it to make it stop. But it's kind of annoying when you're on stairs because you miss.
Yeah. I thought it would be like a goddamn mimic and just like open up and just start trying to like eat you.
No.
Because that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, usually there's a boss fight, but this is the first. They're just introducing you to.
Yeah, it's introducing you to the game and stuff like that. And so it doesn't want to just be like, okay, and now you're fucked.
Yeah. I think I missed a chest here somewhere. Supposedly there's like a secret chest here somewhere, and you're gonna see me looking around for it. I give up, and then I don't look at the guide again because I wasn't sure if there is a good and bad ending to this game, and I wasn't sure at the time of this recording whether I had to do something special to get it. I know in Boktai 3 it's a bit more involved, but in this game is at the ending there's something you have to do, and if you let the timer run out, you get the bad ending.
Oh, so it's just the bad ending is sit there like a goddamn idiot.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
So as long as you have two brain cells to rub together and know what you're doing, in even the most basic of ways, you get the good ending.
Yeah, you have like a 90-second timer, so, and you literally just have to hold a button for like a few seconds. So,
if you can't do that, you should probably not be living by yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, you're gonna see me try to be. I can't really be stealthy here.
I just love this. Just like you're just hiding around a corner. It's just like, don't mind the coffin. Just regular maintenance.
Oh yeah, if the enemies actually see the coffin, they'll actually like start pushing it faster towards like back to where the immortal was.
They try to return it.
Yeah, because if you leave the coffin shake so much, it'll start like moving back towards the its chamber, let's call it.
Is he just stunned or?
Yeah, he's asleep. If you hit them from the back with the gun to soul, they'll go to sleep, I suppose. You'll knock them out.
Lazy pieces of shit sleeping on the job.
I didn't realize that, so you'll see me in a bit like shoot enemies from the front thinking I can stun them that way. But no, I realized later, like, well, now of course, that you need to just shoot them in the back.
Yeah.
And this is actually quite a long game from what I've been, often when I play through games, I look up some information about them and, how long they are and some other little stuff like that. And this is like a 10 to 20 hour game depending on
how fast you are.
Whether you just want to run in and just get done with the dungeon, or whether you want the higher rank and go through stealthily.
Yeah. Oh no, brother! It's time for a pile driver. I apologize. My Hulk Hogan is god awful. I'm aware. No need to remind me.
I've actually made a special thumbnail for this game. By that I mean I'm gonna try it so where the thumbnail actually has an image from the video at the back of the thumbnail. So, well, we'll see how that works.
Oh, those are mirrors.
Well, these are the pile drivers.
I know. What I'm saying is, I didn't know that they were mirrors. I thought that they were goddamn like turrets.
Oh, okay. Well, they're kind of like that, I suppose.
And then the mirror fell. Okay. Epic music. This has the feeling of this is going somewhere, but it probably isn't, as this is yet again the first stage.
Yeah. The Vampire Lord here doesn't really do anything, as you can imagine. I don't think it actually does attempt to hurt you at all. I think it can only hurt you if you let its darkness hit the pile drivers, but even then, all that does is stop the pile drivers from working, and all you have to do is hit them with your gun to soul again. Like what I'm doing here.
What I'm trying to... I mean, yes, I know this is a video game, so me just trying to apply logic to it is freaking a wasted effort to begin with.
Yeah.
But how the fuck do you, like, make light dark?
No, I don't think he's making the light dark. Is that he's sending his own beam to counteract the light beam, and he's pushing it back.
Yeah, it's just not a really good portrayal because of the, technology of the time.
And we got the Fool card, which is actually a thing for puzzles. Otenko will explain it much later what it actually does. But what it does is that, because puzzles, block puzzles, a puzzle in which it's possible to get stuck in doesn't appear much later. Even then, you really have to fuck up to get yourself stuck. So...
At least it's not like the goddamn Fool card from Binding of Isaac.
Well, what it does...
Oh, what's that boss fight?
Well, what it does is it puts you back at the start of a room. Like, the puzzles will reset if you leave the room, but Tenga calls it like the card of it means you admit defeat if you use the card, something like that. He says something like that, so to make you feel bad when you use the card. I think if you use it, it lowers your rank, so don't use it. The sun will rise tomorrow. Oh, may the sun be with us. Hooray. Well, yeah, if you shoot Otenko with a Gundasol, he'll do different things.
Explain.
I think if you just shoot him, like with the Gundasol, like normally, he'll grow bigger.
Oh. I thought he'd just get like pissed at you.
He grows red if you shoot him with something else, and he gets like white if you. I forget what exactly it is, but there's different effects depending on the what Gundasol thing you have on equipped.
Overheat.
So this was going into what I was talking about earlier about your Gundasol overheating.
Yeah, if you were in too sunny of a place.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'll admit that's a really interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
But I can see why it never like really caught on.
Mm-hmm. It did fine in Japan and the U.S. The first game I think it did all right. The second game sold pretty bad, and we never got the third one over here. There's an English patch out for it, which is like 95% complete. Like the entire script for the story is translated. I think the only thing that isn't translated is some graphics and stuff like that. That isn't important. So
yeah, more or less it works. But yeah, like what I mean by like I can see why it didn't catch on is by like the whole like no one else has done anything like it.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't know if you ever had this problem, but like I could never use like a handheld system outside just because like I would never be able to just fucking like see the screen because of the glare.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know that problem. It depends on the type of screen you have.
Yeah.
And isn't like to counteract it? Isn't like raising your screen brightness actually helps counteract it or something like that?
Yes. That was the weirdest part. If you raise your screen brightness, it would actually cut down on the glare.
Yeah.
But then it would drain your battery a lot faster.
Yeah.
Hooray! Strategically placed holes.
When I was younger, I never really played my like Game Boy Advance outside.
Yeah.
I always played it inside. Well, that was mostly because of the original Game Boy Advance had the AA batteries, so I was always hesitant to take it outside because I didn't want my batteries to run out while I'm playing a game outside.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put a game in sleep mode, now that I think about it, you still have to replace the batteries. So you would have to turn off the game anyway. You would have to turn off the game anyway.
Yep.
So sleep mode didn't really help that much unless you did it as right when did it pretty early.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was you never felt safe to let the batteries like run out completely anyway because you didn't know how long you had left once that light turned red. Although my friend, he had a rechargeable battery pack for the Game Boy Advance.
Same here.
You had that?
Yeah.
I didn't have that. But he'd had that. And then I got the Game Boy Advance SP. Why? No, there was a funny story about it. I forget what. I think. I know my brother got one because my mom did babysitting, right? Mm-hmm. She doesn't do that anymore. She did babysitting over there, and she was babysitting.
Well, I can understand the reason why she doesn't do babysitting anymore. She has you, Juan, and Steve to worry about now.
Yeah, but anyway, she did it over there. Like me and my brother were still kids, but she did it. She did it mostly with people she knew, but there was this one kid, and he couldn't figure out how to turn it on. This was his excuse for doing this, by the way. So he threw my brother's Game Boy Advance out the window. We were on the 4th floor, by the way.
Asshole.
Yeah, I think I still have that one, and that's the one that works. So it still works. I know it wasn't mine because mine had orange juice spilled on it, and it stopped working after like a year after the orange juice got spilled onto it. It can still work, but after a while it stopped working.
I don't think anything bad ever happened to my Game Boy Advance. But like everything just started to like go wrong. Like anything and everything that could go wrong went wrong. Once I got my first DS.
Yeah.
I was over at my cousin's one day, staying over because you know, my parents were doing something with my aunt and uncle. And my younger cousin, he spilled goddamn maple syrup on it. And to this day, I still want to figure out how he did it, because he was on the other side of the table than me. So there was no way he could have been anywhere near it, because he never got up the entire time.
But he must have like lunged at you, I guess, like with the maple syrup.
I think how it happened was he was handing me the maple syrup, and like some of it like just spilled when it exchanged hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it still worked, but all the keys stuck all the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My DS and DS Lite went through similar situation with my little brother because he was younger. I remember my little brother was just like, he was very young at the time, like 2 or 3, and he was just, on my bed, just like moving about over there, and I was playing my DS while I was like on the floor right next to the bed.
Yeah.
And the top part was already broken from one of my little brother used in the past, so it was like on the fringe of coming off, but it still worked and everything. All the controls worked. And so my little brother went to the edge of the bed, and I don't know how exactly he did it, but he falls on top where the screen was already about coming off, and the top part of the screen came off.
That had to suck.
Yeah. And my DS Lite I think actually my little brother had to be like 1 or 2 or something like that when that happened. Because DS Lite was broken by similar means by my younger brother, but he was like 3 or 4 at the time, so he couldn't.
Yeah.
It was just me letting him not paying too much attention to him when he used it.
Yeah.
And so that broke. But
I remember that I think it was like a year or 2 after like the wait, no. It was like a few months after the DSi XL had been released. I still had my DS, and I had it on a ledge just like charging or something.
Yeah.
And I walked by and I accidentally knocked it down, and somehow it landed just right that the top screen popped off and was held on by a single cable. It still worked.
Oh yes,
it still worked.
That's what happened with my original DS. It still worked with that single cable, and then my little brother landed on the top screen, and
Yeah.
Like, all the thing is in that middle part was the cable that connects the top screen to the bottom. I think everything is on the bottom, which is why it still worked.
Yeah.
Because if you turn on a DS without the top screen, it'll still turn on. But unless you do some modifications, it won't actually boot up into the menu. Because I believe to boot up into the menu, the DS actually has to detect the top screen, and if it doesn't, it'll just turn on, but it won't do anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would have been cool if it still boot up, because that meant I could still play Game Boy Advance games, but it doesn't boot up unless you do some modding to the system itself.
Yeah. I was lucky in that the cable didn't disconnect, so I just had a freaking DS that was just in two pieces that I could just still turn on and play.
Yeah, it became more like a console at that point where you would just leave it, you know, on a table somewhere, and you wouldn't actually like move it around too much.
Yeah. But yeah, after that, like for my birthday, I ended up getting a DSi, mostly because I had accidentally screwed up the cable. So yeah. For the most part, I don't get like new consoles or anything like that unless I break one of my current ones by just accident.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think the only time that I've never gotten a new console from breaking the older console was my PS3, and that was because my my dad bought one for himself for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then like 2 months later, he just never used it anymore, and so I just took it.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was one of those kids that had both an N64 and a PS1.
Yeah.
I had both of them because a cousin of mine, like an older cousin, gave me and my family the N64. And then later, my parents bought me a PS1. Well, for me and my brother. I think the N64 is in El Salvador now. I think I asked my mom where it was like a year or two ago, and she said that she thought she thinks that she gave it to the younger family members in El Salvador. And PS1, we have no idea what happened to that. I know it didn't.
Can enemies just not see you if you do this?
No, those guys react to sound. They can't see.
Oh, okay. I was wondering how you were just up against a wall and they just ran right the fuck by you, just like, he's over there!
If you noticed earlier, that guy that lunged at me almost hit me, but missed.
Yes.
Yeah, he heard me moving, and then I clung to the wall and moved to the side so he wouldn't hear me anymore, because, yeah, that's like really the only way they could implement tiptoeing into this sort of game. On the Game Boy Advance, considering the limited control scheme.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember now. Oh yeah. Speaking of like the N64 and stuff like that, I never had a PS1. I grew up with a PS2. But well, it wouldn't be had because it's still up there and it still works. But we have a N64 up at the family camp that my grandmother owns up in Lake George. Well, Lake Luzerne. And yeah, just still works, so you can still just go and play like Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Funny story about the PS2 actually. Back then I knew about the PS1, but like I didn't know like there was a PS2 out. My cousin had a PS2, but she called a PlayStation, so I assumed it was the same thing that we had, and she didn't use it that much, so she let us borrow a game, and that was Jak and Daxter.
Oh, I love Jak and Daxter.
And we put in our PS1 and it didn't work, of course. And so we wondered why it didn't work. And I always asked my older brother I always told my older brother that we should probably just give it back since it didn't work on our system. And he always would tell me to be quiet for some reason. Like whenever I wanted to bring it up to give it back to our cousin, and I'm like, I just listened. I'm like, okay, like whatever, man. And we got a PS2, and then I remembered that that we had Jack and Daxter, and like, hey, why don't we put it in there and see if it works? And you know,
Lo and behold,
it works. And we had another PS2 game. I think the first PS2 game we got was Dragon Ball Tenkaichi, and then you know we had Jack and Daxter. So we had 2 PS2 games.
yeah. Hell, I still have 2 like just boxes of PS2 games. So I got like Rayman and Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter and all that stuff.
And I still have my PS2 as well, but it's kind of I can tell that it's not gonna work that much anymore because I think it's dying because sometimes it has trouble reading some discs. We don't have it connected to a TV or anything anymore because a lot of us stopped using it.
Yeah.
And it's region locked, so I can't use it to play a Japanese import. So that's why I need to get a Japanese PS2 eventually.
Yeah. My mom and I still use it every now and then, and so do my cousins. We also use it to like play just movies and stuff like that if they are on Blu-ray.
Because it's a DVD player as well.
Yep.
My family actually had one of those VHS DVD players. Now that I think about it.
Oh God, I still remember those things.
Yeah, my family had one of those, and for some reason
I feel fucking old now.
For some reason, I own Garfield on DVD and VHS, like the Garfield movie, like the CG Garfield movie.
Yeah, I know the one that you're talking about.
Yeah, I own that on.
We don't speak about that.
I own that on VHS and DVD, and I watched that like all the time as a kid, and I don't know why. Like I don't know why we owned it on VHS and DVD.
Who knows?
What happened though was that the DVD player stopped working, but the VHS part still works, so we could still watch VHSs on that thing. I think we still have it. I think it's like somewhere, it's like in a box somewhere in a closet.
Yeah. Hell, dude, I remember watching VHS movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I started feeling older when I was watching like when people were talking about like games that I played, as 10 or 12, and people were saying like these kind of games were like their entire childhood, and I'm like, and I'm thinking, really? And then I realized that these games were their childhood because they're children. And it's like, oh God.
It's like, oh God. And even the fact that like, like you and I remember playing those games and stuff like that ourselves when we were kids, when we were kids and a lot younger and stuff like that. It's just, it's just like, God damn it, man. Shit has changed. Shit has changed so goddamn much.
Yep.
I also love how when
is this video gonna end soon? Oh yeah, it's gonna end.
Yeah.
5, 4. See ya, everybody. Oh God, that video ended.
Happy New Year.